Welcome back to CACTUSMAIN. Okay, today we are going to be talking about growing cacti from seed utilizing the Baggy Method. In this video, we're going to go over the basic materials needed, the methods on how to sow your seed, and then at the end, we're going to go ahead and zoom out and talk about why it is we do what we do sowing cacti seed. Alright, first and foremost, you want to start with a nice, clean, disinfected workspace. Always helps. So, we got us a little Clorox sanitary wipe. Let's get this joker nice and clean. Let it soak up all the bad jujus. And let that soak in for the recommended disinfection time per manufacturer. Alright, first and foremost, you need some cactus seed. You can't grow cactus if you don't have seed. Today, we're going to be sowing some Scobaria minima. Next, you need some small pots. I use 2-inch square pots, and I got these ones on Amazon. If you are looking for pots like this, I'll go ahead and have a link in the description below. You will need some fresh, unused Ziploc bags. Make sure you label the species and the date that you sow them. You can also add the count how many seed that you have put in there. Next, you need your soil. Any soil will work. I now just use any regular old standard potting soil mix that is not overloaded with fertilizer. So that typically means I stay away from the Miracle-Gro potting mixes. Any generic potting mix will work just fine. Cactus seedlings love water. So it does not matter how the drainage is unless you plan on growing your seed from start to adulthood for a few years in the same pot. Then you would go ahead and use a standard cactus soil mix. Then you need a little bowl to where you can water your pots from the bottom. And finally, you need to be able to have fun growing cacti from seed. Let's get started. Okay, go ahead and sterilize your soil. One of the easiest ways to go ahead and sterilize it is to go ahead and throw it in the microwave. Yes, put it in the microwave. I normally run mine anywhere between 3 and 4 minutes. I don't know if you can see the steam coming up or not, but it's very hot. So be careful, don't stick your fingers in there. It's gonna burn, it's gonna hurt. But you just wanna go through your soil, make sure there's no crap in it like this right here. Guys, that's a big old piece of bark. Take that out. Notice I'm not doing it with my hands. I'm just go through, all right? There's a couple of small pieces. There's a stick right there. I mean, you can leave it in there. That's no big deal. I mean, that's one more thing that holds water, and seedlings love water. All right, now that that is blazing hot, let's go ahead and set that to the side. Now get your seed. All right. Seed packets come differently. This seed was purchased from Mesa Garden. There'll be a link in the description below if you want to check them out and grab some good. They have some really good rare seed. Open her up. Looked like a seed was just jumping out at me. This is why we disinfected our top here, because I'm fixing to dump out the seed. I do not remember how many came in this packet, so I'm going to dump them out and go through them. Okay, go ahead and get some soil in your pot. Remember, be careful. It's hot, it's steamy, hot and steamy. Once you have your soil in your pot, go ahead and drop her down in your water. Let's water this pot from the bottom. Get the soil nice and soaking wet. All right, guys, we got our 2 pots soaked up water. I'm sure you can see it in there. Really quick, it did. The reason why we go ahead and soak it up, there's two reasons why we do it. 1, get all the water in the soil. 2, it goes ahead and cools it down so you can go ahead and start throwing your seed on. You can see over here I got 2 piles separated. There was 26 seed in that pack, so I got 13 in each. I'm gonna put 13 in this one, 13 in that one. I'm going to try a nifty little trick that I just learned. Very basic trick. Can't believe I never thought of it. But Pam, you taught me this in your video, and I thank you very much. Gonna make life a little bit easier for me. Just dab it down just a little bit. Just dab her down. Wow, we are soaking wet there. So now you got a little bit of moisture on your finger, and just dab your seed and drop it in. Wherever you want, however you want. Do it how you want. They're your seed, guys. Your seed, nobody else's seed. Don't let anybody tell you, nope, they're your seed. All right, now we take the other 13 and we go ahead and spread them around in the other pot. Let's see what we can get going on. All right, we've sown the seed. Get your Ziploc baggie, open her up quickly, and do not drain out any of the water. You need the water in there. Just pick it up and move her to the Ziploc bag. That's simple. It's a little bit easier when you're not trying to stay in frame on the camera. Seal her up with the air that's in there. Nice and sealed up. Let's get the other one out of there. There we go, guys. 2 pots. Why am I doing 2 pots? Guys, never ever put all of your seed in one pot. Never put all of your seed in one pot. Chances are you're in your house, you're somewhere, there are floating mold spores, even though your house is crystal clean. If this one got mold in it, some spores in it, or some fungus, or some bacteria or something, there's still a chance that these 13 didn't get any, and you'll have a successful batch. Alright guys, so you see how easy it is to sow cactus seed. Very simple. I went ahead and just threw it in my little seed chamber here in my dungeon. As you can see, it's just a basic 40-gallon reptile tank that leaks and I can't use it anymore. So I repurposed it for my seed growing chamber. I've just lined it with basic white printer paper to reflect light. Got a shop light going on top. Not too sure on the light bulbs. I know they're T8s and they're a plant grow type I got from Home Depot. These bulbs have been working for me for about 4 years now. I've grown quite a few cacti from seed with these bulbs. So they work very well. Guys, there will be a part 2 where I'll go more in depth on the care for your seedlings once they germinate. Once these guys germinate, I'm going to go ahead and film part 2 to show you guys and talk a little bit more about the care. What to look for, what to watch out for, and if I have any problems with them, I will share those in that video so you guys know what to look out for. Alright guys, last but not least, why in the world do we do the methods we do? None of this exists in nature. None of this exists in the desert. Why in the world are we doing this? Really? Is it necessary? Yes. Okay guys, if you're spending money on seed, okay, it's a different story if you've, propagated your own seed, you've flowered, pollinated, fruited, harvested the seed on your own, and you don't care. But when you spend your hard-earned money, because let's face it, not all of us are rich guys, but when you spend your hard-earned money on seed, you want at least a 70 to 90% success rate with sowing your seed. Do you or do you not? In the wild, the success rate drops drastically. I'm no scientist, I'm not a expert, but I'm willing to say, judging by the amount of seed in a given fruit of, let's just say, any Phaerocactus species, the amount of seed in one fruit, you could go for anywhere from 50 to 400 plus seed. Let's just go ahead and take it to 200 seed. Each adult Phaerocactus species, at any given time during the season, during the seed or fruiting season, can have, let's just say, a minimum of 10 fruits. 10 times 200, that's 2,000 seed. If my math is correct, I hope. 2,000 seed, guys, going on the ground. Around that adult Phaerocactus, in the desert, in the wild, growing on its own, no microwave, no plastic bag, how many babies are around that Phaerocactus? There might be another one 10, 15 feet away. There might be one right below it. But that's about it, guys. Out of 2,000 seed, you're only going to get a handful of plants in the wild. That's why there's so many seed, because it's so hard to get them to germinate. Microwave, sterilizing the soil? Really? Come on. Yes, really. You got to get rid of the household type molds, fungi, which is mold, same thing pretty much. Bacterias, anything that can get in there and mess it up. That stuff's not out in the desert. It might be, but I don't know. The humidity in the desert's a whole lot lower than your house, so it might not be there. Humidity? The humidity levels aren't that high. Why do you need to close up a Ziploc bag with a bunch of water? Cactus don't like water. They don't need humidity. They grow in the desert. Okay, let's take a look at where most seedlings start growing in the desert. Mind you, I am no expert. I've only been out to the desert in Arizona a few times, okay, and a couple times in Southern California, not a whole lot. But every time I've been out there and I found an adult plant and I'm looking for seedlings growing around that plant, I find them either very directly at the base of the plant or underneath some rocks surrounding the plant. Never out in the open sand, always around some rocks, which can hold the morning dew and provide the humidity for that plant, okay? Again, the success rate of that poor little seedling out in the wild making it to maturity is very, very slim. Doing the Baggy method, microwaving your soil, helps those chances go from this big to this big. That's why we do what we do, guys. I hope this video helped. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 when I talk about raising your seedlings.